Hello, dear viewer. Welcome back to Technical Alphas. Today we are going to be creating a square root system with Visual Basic. So please watch the video to the end and don't forget to subscribe. The channel name is Technical Alphas. So the first thing we are going to be doing, we are going to be creating a folder on our desktop, and this is where we're going to be saving our project. So you're free to name it project or anything else. My case is going to be project. So open up your Visual Studio. This is where we're going to be doing all the work from. So you must have Visual Studio 2013 or a later version installed on your machine. So come to File, New, then click Project. So we are going to be creating a square root system with Visual Basic.net. So come to Visual Basic, Windows, then Windows Forms Application. Then you can name your application. Mine is going to be square root. Browse. So we are going to select the folder which we have created on the desktop. So we look for the folder, it was project, then select folder, click OK. So now the project will be created, and then we start doing the work we're supposed to be doing. So don't forget to subscribe. The channel name is Technical Alphas, so that you won't miss out on all other languages, programming languages, database stuff that we'll be doing. So here you have to adjust it accordingly to how you want it. Come to toolbox. Now in my case, I'm first going to get the palette. The panel, sorry. I'm going to adjust it accordingly. Now, when you look on this side, you can see the properties of the selected component. Now, in this case, it's the panel. So I'm going to change its background color. So come here to back color. Now I'm going to choose this one. So this is where I'm going to put my labels and my text boxes. So I'll look for the labels. Pick one, put it here. Let me first put here, it's going to be the heading. Copy this, Control V, paste it. Now this is going to be here, and we need one more, so paste again. This is going to be here. Now we need two text boxes, so I'll get the text box, drag it up to here, widen it, then copy and paste this here. So this is going to be the label for entering the number. So the text here will be, come to properties, this side, and change the text, enter the number. So when you click anywhere on the form, it will change, and then here we need the output, which will be the square root. So we look for the text this side, and here we can say output, which will be the square root. So I can say sqrt to show that it's the square root. When I click here, you see it has also changed. Now we need the label, so let's also name the label or the title. This would be square root project. You can name it anything you want. So mine is square root project. That's where it's going to be. So I'll need some buttons that I'm going to be using. Come back to toolbox. I'm going to get two buttons, the exit button and the compute button. So I'll copy this, paste it. So I'll come to this button, the text, I'll give it exit, and this one I'll name it compute. So this is my interface. So I'm going to name these text boxes. The first one, I'm going to name it A, and the second one, I'm going to name it B, not to disturb me. So look for design within the properties and look for name. That's where we're going to name them from. I'm going to name my first text box A, and the second one, I'm going to name it B for easy remembrance. You can name it anything you want. So I've finished designing my interface. So let me first run this and I see. So this is my interface. So I can type number, but when I compute, nothing happens. So let's go into the coding part. So double click on the compute button. Now we've entered some code here. So here, the button compute is where I'm going to write my code. So the code is going to be for the text box A and text box B. Now in text box A, we're going to be entering our number to be computed, and we get the square root. So the first thing we're going to do is declare a variable. So I'm going to say dim. Now the variable is going to be num. So I'm going to declare it as an integer. And this is equal to math dot square root sqrt. So open brackets. So I'm going to say c int, open brackets again, and we're going to be collecting this from a dot text. So whatever value being given in a dot text is going to be computed, and we get its square root. So that's done. So we want to display the square root which has been obtained. Now we're going to be displaying it in b, the lower text box. So it's going to be b dot text. So we want it to be displayed equal to num, the number which has been entered in a, and we have obtained its square root. So num dot to string. So we're turning it into a string. So this should be it. So let's run it again and we see. So we enter our number, we can say 25. So when we compute, you see the square root is 5. So this is how you do your square root project within Visual Basic. You can make it have a very good interface, better than mine, but that's the code behind. But we have one problem. I can still change the output to something like 4, which is not good at all. So let's make it that it can only display but cannot be tampered with. How can we do that? So let's close this. We come back, and now we want to enter form load, where we can change the properties of that section. So double click anywhere in the form, and now we have entered what we call the form load. So here we are going to disable b.text so that no one can tamper with the output. So what we are going to do is set b dot enabled equals false with a capital F. So this would disable b.text, and you won't be able to change you won't be able to change the output. So let's run it again and you see. So when we say again something like 25 and we compute, you see that 5 will come, but I won't be able to change the value that has been given. So that's it with square root. Now let's deal with the exit button because it's not functioning. So come back, let's go back to the design and double click in the exit button. Now you'll enter its function down here, which is private sub button 2 dot click and everything as you see it. So what we're going to say is me capital C, which is close, then give it the brackets. We do not put a semicolon at the end when you're dealing with Visual Basic. I know some people are used to a language similar, which is C sharp, others call it C hash, but here we are not going to be putting a semicolon at the end of the sentence. So let's run this again and see. So when we enter our number 25 and we compute, we get the square root. You can try this with any number. Let's say 100. When you compute, you get 10. Any number can still work. So when you press exit, it closes. So that's how the exit button works. And thank you for watching the video to the end. Hope you've liked it, and if you've really enjoyed, please subscribe and help the channel move on, because I really need a subscription. Thanks for watching. Shalom.